I would like to dive a little bit deeper on outside of soccer now. I know both of you, like you mentioned, your identities are not just soccer, and that's taken a good chunk of this interview so far. So let's dive into the other side of Danny and Javi. Tell me more about that. What do you guys like to do on your free time? What's the main thing that gives you joy when you're done with the shower after training and you come back home? What's a day in
Well,
the life?
first thing is a nap. After training, a nice nap. Sometimes it's differently, but honestly, my hobbies kind of changed a little bit coming graduating from college to now.
Hmm.
College is just a different experience. You have schoolwork, you have other things, so you're going to bed at all different times. But like I've tried to get more of a consistent schedule. But honestly, what brings me joy after training is coming back. We cook dinner together, or we cook lunch together, and then we hang out. We probably do our own thing for a couple hours, whatever we have to do. I usually watch a movie. He probably does something more productive. But no, I mean, for me, just I love watching movies. I love spending time with friends. I mean, I'm not a person that likes being alone very often, to be honest. I just enjoy being around people, talking, hanging out. But we've picked up golfing. I've been golfing for a while. He's just starting.
I'm learning. I'm getting better. Huh?
Yeah, he's getting better. He's getting better. I'm trying to teach him the best I can. I mean, I'm a self-taught golfer, so I'm not very good either. But he's learning. But we enjoy it. We've been doing that. He's been teaching me how to cook. He's been teaching me healthy habits. So his 2 years on me of experience, or it shows how much of an elder he is. So, but yeah, there's just little simple things that give us pleasure. Give me
Yeah,
pleasure.
yeah. I would say we share a lot of those things in common. Of course, I will say mine brings me more joy is learn more about and grow my faith, read the Bible, pray more, and be able to share the good news to other people. I think that brings me a lot of joy and helping other people too, being able to step into their lives and help them. I think that brings me a lot of joy. Of course, other hobbies like I love to cook too. I cook every single meal because one of my also big hobbies and big topics is my health. I try to take care of my health a lot with, of course, healthy eating and taking care of good habits during the night, in the morning. We can talk about that later if you want. Being outside, I love nature too. Being in
Yeah, being
nature,
outside for
we
sure.
try to do hikes, sort of stuff. People make fun of us because
Because we go hiking when we're supposed to be somewhere else.
yeah, we go hiking a lot. For example, this weekend maybe we have off, so we are just looking for an opportunity to go hiking, visit new places,
Yeah.
being outside in the sun. I love that. And what else? Yeah, and of course, try to find financial freedom. Try
Yeah.
to with just being able to sell myself out for life. And now that I'm young, he's learning too. We're learning together.
Yeah.
Actually, try to see our next investment, what we can do, how we can invest that money
Yeah,
and create more wealth.
for sure.
Lovely, lovely. So it sounds like there's a lot of different paths that we can follow here. Let's dive a little bit deeper on the health one because I know you mentioned that's a big part of you. I know
Mhm.
you also mentioned earlier that from that transition to freshman to sophomore year, and when you went back to Spain, taking care of your body, taking care of what you ate a little bit more. Tell us how that's evolved and where you're at now with that perspective.
Yeah, well, everything started, I would say, um, yeah, my freshman year, I got injured. I had that same injury in my pubis. I was out for 6 months and I couldn't find a solution. I was just waiting. I was not doing anything. I was doing rehab. But then I was in the morning drinking chocolate milk and
And
eating
curious.
cereal.
You
So then
love
it's
that
like,
one, huh?
yeah. So but I had no idea. So that's why I don't blame a lot of people because they have no idea
Yeah.
because there is not a lot of information out there. So that's why I also want to take advantage of this opportunity and talk about that because people they should know. I think what is better for them. What they can do to improve the health. In my case, everything started with eating healthier. Just I don't follow a strict diet or anything like that, but I just try to focus on eating food from nature. Eating I eat whatever. I eat fish. I eat meat. I eat rice, vegetables. Carbs, protein, whatever. But everything from nature, everything organic too, because I focus a lot of organic because I think you have to be careful with pesticides and that stuff. So
Mhm.
organic means they don't use pesticides in your food. So I think pesticides and especially glyphosate is related to a lot of diseases nowadays in our world. So I think you should be careful with that too. But at the same time, if someone invites me to dinner and is cooking for me, I'm not picky and say, okay, I'm bringing my own food, you know.
Yeah.
But that was a healthy transition because at the beginning I used to do that. You know, at the beginning I used to be very strict and I used to not skipping any single meal, and I think that's not sustainable in the long term, you know. And because of course that doesn't mean is I was enjoying a lot, but I was saying no to a lot of stuff that it caused me more stress, mental stress, you know, that actually was going to cause me any harm in my body, you know. So I think a lot of times a big part of your health too is the stress, you know. So try to be able to not be stressed at all,
Relax.
and relax, and how you can find that, you know. In my case is with a balance, you know. That doesn't mean that whenever I eat I want dessert, I just eat dessert, because you also have to be able to control yourself. But I have a balance in my life, and that part of my that part helped me a lot. And now it's more about that. I think you are into this too. Just my sleep, I prioritize my sleep a lot. So for example, when it's dark outside, I just wear my blue light glasses. My you know, I just use red light during the night. I try to avoid technology during the night to try to read during the night. So I go to sleep and I sleep much better. You know, I think that helps me. That helps me a lot too. And then one of the most important things for me is just being outside, connecting to nature. We talk a lot about grounding, right?
Yeah.
I ground a lot. I spend most of the part of my day barefoot. I try to just go outside, just enjoy the sun, you know, take good breaths outside and things like that. Little details that I think that when they sum up, I think they make a big difference.
Yeah. So
And well, I just want to add to that really quick because I think I'm somebody who can relate more to the audience because I didn't know. I'm learning about this health stuff, you know, as we go from Javi, who's helping me, you know. I don't believe everything he says because don't, as you tell him,
That's
tell
good.
him what you
That's
say.
good.
Tell him what you say.
That's good, because if I say something and you believe me at the first time, you're a fool because you have to check it, you know.
Yeah.
Then I just wanted to plant that seed in you, you know, and then you go out there and you get the knowledge, and then if you want to apply it, if you believe in it, you do it. But don't do anything because someone tells you.
No, I agree. And I think the biggest thing for me and the biggest thing from people who maybe want to eat healthy or try and eat healthy, but can't find foods they like or whatever. I think the biggest thing I learned from Javi is that I thought eating healthy consisted of I got to eat a salad every day. I got to eat grilled chicken with it's salad, grilled chicken, and rice. Like that. Those are that's it. Like that's all I'm eating. I thought that that's what it was, and I was having grilled chicken Caesar wraps. And I thought, oh, that's healthy.
Everyone here thinks the Caesar salad is the best thing ever.
Oh, I love a good Caesar salad, but I thought that was healthy, and I didn't know any better. So like you said, I was never educated. It's not like my family was super educated on all this health stuff.
No, they don't teach you this.
They don't. I mean, yeah, they don't. You don't really get taught this anywhere about health stuff. You learn other kind of health things, and I've realized now from Javi, I could eat loads of different meals. I mean, we make so many different kinds of foods, chicken, steak, rice, potatoes, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Like it's not a salad every day. I don't think I've eaten a meal yet where I'm just like, wow, like this
sounds bland,
you know. This
what I tell you about salads?
Yeah, rabbit food. I'm like, I can't, like, it's like this meal again. Like, are we serious?
Yeah.
No, like every night I've loved every meal, and I'm learning to cook, so I enjoy the cooking. You learn all these little different things, and I think from the audience, the biggest takeaway is that eating healthy doesn't just consist of those, those salads as your only meal. There's so many different foods that you can eat while eating healthy. It's all more about how you cook it and the kind of meat you're picking up. That you can get all these kind of healthy foods, and I mean, I love eating, and I love eating healthy now because eating healthy, I'm still eating great meals.
Yeah.
And like Javi said, we don't completely cut out. We're gonna have our fried chicken every once in a while. We go out to eat. We actually we went to Walgreens and we walked past the Zaxby's and you could smell the fried chicken from the outside, and we're like, "Woo, we got to hit that up at some point." So I mean, that's the biggest takeaway is that eating healthy doesn't just consist of those.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to add to be more specific is maybe some things that people should avoid. But maybe they have no idea. Which one do you think is the first one I'm gonna say?
I think you're gonna say oils.
There we go.
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, the only one we use around here is olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil, and
from Europe, from Italy, from Spain. Yeah.
Organic. That's what I'm used to. Yeah, organic, extra virgin olive oil.
Here, when they use for everything the canola oil, and the canola oil is it contains a lot of polyunsaturated fats that they they get destroyed in your cells and then they damage your cells because we're not able to digest those very good. But people they don't know that
I had
and
no
that
clue.
that little
no clue.
difference of the oil you use to cook maybe can create a big difference in the long term. You know, so just changing those little things, just cook with extra virgin olive oil instead of canola oil. You know.
No, even I've noticed it just in terms of inflammation. I mean, I still feel my osteoarthritis injury, but it's a lot better. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna totally congratulate eating healthy, but it has to do a big part in that. You know, eating those less inflammatory foods and those oils.
Because it's about inflammation. It's about reducing inflammation.
So especially as athletes, you know, inflammation is something that we always try to keep out of our body and try to stay away from. So anything you can do to help that is a good thing. And I've learned that, you know, the different kinds of oils, they make a difference. And I'd never thought, I was always like, whatever, I don't care. I'm eating grilled chicken. I don't care what they cook it in, you know.
It's grilled chicken.
Exactly, it's grilled chicken. That's healthy to me. So I'm grateful that he's taught me all this, and I'm very, very far from being anywhere near knowledgeable. So I'm learning.
No, but we're still learning. Even me, I don't know everything. I'm just it's a constant process, you know, constant improvement.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the fact that you are flexible and you can also shift around. Okay, now that I'm realizing how much unhealthy stuff I was doing, I'm gonna go to the extreme and bring Tupperwares to those dinners.
Yeah.
That was also like when you
That's
thought
unhealthy in another way.
Exactly. When you thought you knew so much and you're doing like all this good for your body, well, that's also taking a toll on you because you're not enjoying companies. And
I like to call it soul food.
But the thing is that I think that's, I don't want to say good, but maybe that's a common phase because once you
for sure.
once you understand how those bad foods can hurt you, you know, you're like, okay, I don't want them at all. You know, I just want to go to the opposite. I want to eat good and that stuff. But then you realize, okay, I eat this one day per week or one day, you know. And also another thing is that we don't have a cheat day. It's not like, okay, Saturday is our cheat day. We can wait for our cheat day.
You can do whatever you want on Saturday. Everything is allowed.
Yeah, it's not like that. It just
it happens. We try not to eat out because we spend money on groceries and we also want to use what we buy. We save every leftover and we use it in another meal, and it tastes just as good, honestly. And I learned that too. I was like, leftovers again. And then I realized, oh wow, you can actually make good food with leftovers. You know, leftovers can taste just the same as the night before, and you can add stuff to them. So I've learned that kind of thing. But you know, eating out, it could be we planned on eating a dinner on a Wednesday night, but plans changed, and now we're eating wings for trivia night on a Wednesday night. You know, things come up, and it's okay to have those kind of days. You know, 1 or 2 days isn't going to kill you.
But that was also my difference from, for example, when I started eating healthy, I want to introduce a lot of people in the eating healthy world.
Yeah.
But I was very strict. So, for example, I remember going back to Spain to my family, and I saw my mom eating, I don't know, cookies in the restaurant. They were like, "Mom, don't eat that. That's very bad for you." You know, every day. So they're not gonna listen to you when you have that attitude. You know. People change when they want to change, not when you tell them. So of course you can help them. You can say, hey, maybe this is a little bit better, but if you lead by example, probably they're gonna follow you. And if you see they see you are healthy and their stuff, they're gonna be able to follow you. And I think that was also something that made me better because, for example, with Danny, I think I'm not like that anymore. I'm not like, hey, don't eat that. That's very bad for you. I think like that because that's gonna
create rejection.
But I think it also, from my perspective, it also helps me learn. Because it's like if he told me this is bad, I'm not going to go, oh, why is this bad?
No, but it's more about information, not about don't do that and that's it. Try to.
That's what I'm saying. That you're letting me make my decision. Though it's now I'm thinking about it and I have to choose whether I want to do it or not. And two, now I'm actually learning because I have to think about it. When I have to think about it, I'm learning. I'm like, oh, why this is? I look at it, I'm like, this is probably not good, and I check the ingredients, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand. Rather than if I was just holding it bad to eat, and you're like, no, don't eat that. I'd be like, just put it back and put it back. And I'd be like, I'd probably like, shut up, dude. I'm eating this anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it'd make me want to eat it more because he told me not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but like you said, learning from example. I've learned so much from him. And honestly, I don't know if I would be eating like this. And I think I'm going to carry a lot of these habits into my future. But I don't know if I'd be eating like this if it weren't for him who was starting off with cooking me every meal just because I didn't understand. You know, I didn't know. And now I've learned a lot. So I think learning by example is always huge in everything in life.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, as athletes, you both know the importance of eating well and how that helps you recover from your body. I know a lot of players like Haaland talk about like eating liver and eating raw milk and raw cheese and all these things. And like Cristiano Ronaldo is like the image of
Yeah.
taking care of your food and all that stuff.
But we don't know what he eats. He never says.
Yeah, he
right?
never shares that. Yeah, he's very particular about it.
Magician
know there's
never
a
reveals
couple-
his secret.
Yeah, no, that's true. But it sounds like for the individual, focus on being flexible first of all and adapting your food to your lifestyle, but trying to prioritize one ingredient foods and particularly organic to avoid pesticides.
Grass fed, all that.
Try to cook at home because you control everything that goes into the food, especially if you buy one ingredient foods, and honestly have social interactions with other people while you eat. I feel like that's one of the
For sure.
biggest bonding experiences about eating because it brings out a lot of oxytocin, it makes you feel happy, it makes you feel grateful. So I feel like all those things for the individual to focus on are very good
Yeah.
starting points for the audience, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, and I know what people are gonna say. A lot of people are gonna say that eating healthy is very expensive, you know.
Right.
And sometimes I get that, but I will say no. Eating unhealthy is very cheap, you know.
Yeah.
Also because
Yeah.
I've been working in a farm, you know,
Yeah.
and I work in a farm that it was an organic farm. How you say?
Regeneratively raised.
Yeah, that one. Agriculture, that one.
Yeah.
That one.
Regenerative.
That one.
yeah,
to
no,
talk about.
I don't
Okay,
ask
well,
me to say it.
It's kind of organic, yeah. And I've seen with my eyes. I work there, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of work. You know, you treat the animals good. They eat the highest quality food they can eat. That is pasture raised. You know,
Yeah,
is what is called grass fed. I work on one of those farms, and I see with my eyes what it takes. You know,
Mhm.
so now I understand. Okay, I understand when the milk is $4 more than the other milk. You know, so it's not that this is very expensive. No, that one is very cheap. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, I think that is a problem. It is more expensive than.
No, it's more
It's cheaper,
It's
right?
more expensive. It's more
Um,
expensive than.
But also, then again, if you're constantly cooking every meal and you're not eating out, I think that you can save money on that. You know, if you're cooking your own meals every day, you save so much money rather than eating out every
Mhm.
night. You know what I mean? So maybe you spend that little bit extra money, and it might be a little bit more expensive now, but it'll be better for your body also in the long run. So I mean, you could
Pay
say-
now on food or pay later in doctors.
Yeah,
no?
Yeah,
exactly.
medical bills. That's
Exactly.
gonna-
So I mean,
Yeah, we
over-
see with the diseases, with the chronic diseases, with diabetes, with cancer, with cardiovascular disease, and people say those are genetics when they are just growing and growing and growing and growing. You know, so I would just want to open the mind to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you guys
you have
investigate.
to make people have to make their own decision for
Yeah, of
themselves.
course, but yeah, look it up and getting.
Like me, I still have a lot of making my own decisions for
Yes.
myself what to do based off all the information I've learned.
Yeah, it's part of that planting the seed that we
Yeah.
were talking about earlier, right? Another point I think it's important for the audience to understand is that sometimes when you're buying cheap instead of quote unquote expensive, you're also buying the way the food is treated. The food is put on the supermarket.
Yeah.
So you can choose buying pasture raised eggs from ecologic chickens, and the chickens are going to be treated well and that they're not going to be on a 3x3 inch
That's a big
like
difference.
square inch cell and just put the eggs and have no sunlight and be totally unhealthy and anti-hygienic. So maybe it's worth paying $2 extra for a dozen of eggs.
It's,
If you
it's
know the
about,
chickens.
It's about your values too.
Exactly.
It's about what you're supporting. Because a lot of people, when I explain to them how we sacrifice the animals in the farm and how I kill like some chickens or pigs or cows or whatever, they're like, "Ooh, that's very sad." Oh, blah, blah. And then they're eating the meat every single day. So it's like, at least you should know where the meat comes from. At least you should have that relationship with food.
Mhm.
That is like, okay, this chicken.
Yeah.
I know who this chicken was now.
Yeah.
Now I know who the chicken was, but knowing where the food comes from, because as you said, I working with cows that they're just so happy in the pasture, outside every single day, and you can tell how happy they are, and then you go to industrial farms where they live in this space, their whole life.
Yeah.
I think that's very sad. So I also respect people that they are vegans because they don't want to support that, but at the same time, I think that's not good in my opinion, because I think they should support the people that they're doing things right.
Mhm.
Those local farmers, people that they are doing things right. I think they should support them too.
Yeah, I feel like veganism is a great first step, right? Because you realize that there's something unethical going on and you just don't want to be a part of it. And I think that's a great first step. Maybe diving a little bit deeper into like, okay, why am I doing this? Is there people that are actually taking good care of the animals that I can support? Can I just support them in a different way if I just don't want to consume their foods?
Yeah.
All that stuff, I think it's important to
I mean,
keep
I
in
don't,
mind.
I don't have enough information on this stuff personally to talk about it. I haven't done enough research or seen enough, but I think I'm like most of the audience that's going to watch this video is like, we don't know. And I don't know. I've never worked on a farm and seen how they kill the animals. You asked me 3 months ago and you handed me any piece of chicken, I'd eat it. Or steak, I'd eat it. I don't care, and I'm not saying I wouldn't eat it now, but I definitely like look for those little things, and that's only because I've had you guys to both of you to teach me that stuff, and I've learned and realized, but I still understand why the audience they wouldn't get it because they haven't seen it themselves. Like like I said, you've been fortunate enough to be on a farm and
What we
watch.
show you for is about misinformation.
And you've watched these animals get slaughtered. I think if most people watch an animal get slaughtered in a super unhealthy and unethical way and watch it grow up in you'd be like, oof, like But I still me too. I'm learning and I'm fortunate to have you guys. But I don't know the difference like most people. So I would just encourage people to do their research because that's the only way you can really experience it. I just wanted to say that because I don't want people to think that like we're on the extreme end of things, because a lot of people might think, oh, like these guys are just on the extreme end, like because a lot of people think vegans are on the extreme end of things, they might be, but they just maybe have a little bit of different information or more information than other people. So I think just before people judge or say anything, just do a little bit of research, and then make the decision for yourself. But I just wanted to put that out there so people don't think that that we're just totally psychos, I guess.
Yeah, like we said, this is years long process, and I know Javi and I see it as like a lifestyle process where like what we know today is not what we're gonna know a month from now.
When would you guys say you started your?
As I said, 5 years
That's
ago.
5 years is a long time.
It's a long time process.
Yeah, and I'm like 3 months in, so that's why it's not like a lifestyle for me. You know what I mean?
But you have people by your side that they know what I didn't know.
Exactly. I have these guys, and honestly, like in the future, I'm probably not going to know the answer to everything. And if I don't know an answer, I would easily just text. That's what I'm saying. But I would call or text one of you guys and be like, I'm fortunate enough to have that. No, a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
Everybody's fortunate enough to have the internet, which is a great resource.
Yeah.
But I mean, just realize that there's like all ends of the spectrum, and people, don't have that information.
Yeah. And that can be a double-edged sword, right? Because the good and bad thing about the internet is that you can find anything you look for.
Anything, yeah.
And
usually
by that
is
looking for. Exactly, you find exactly what you're looking for. If you want to find that pesticides are not harmful, you're gonna find them. There will be studies that are proven that the health of the people that eat organic versus non-organic foods doesn't change in a period of X amount of time. But you can also find that it is supported.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's more about what your beliefs are and how you feel after you eat that food, and being that N equal to 1 that I like to call, which is like you are your own experiment. Try it on yourself.
Exactly.
Come up with your own conclusions and keep trying. Never think that you know it all.
If you don't believe it, take a couple months to try it. I mean, does it hurt to try to eat? In quotations, healthy? Because at that point, it's in quotations. You don't know. Like, take a couple months to try and eat healthy and see how you feel. If you don't feel any better, okay, go back. But if you feel a lot better, which you probably will, then maybe that becomes a lifestyle.
And as we said, it's not about food. It's
everything. Going outside, sun, walking, exercise, everything together. And I know I just want to ask, like, a lot of people have a big problem with finding time to do these things. Like, how would you? Or how have you found time in your life? And I'm saying my life, your life. How have you found time in your life? I know we're fortunate with our professions that we have a lot of time and we exercise for our profession, but how we've had parents, siblings, how do they find time for?
I mean, you find time for your priorities, 100%. So if that's your priority, of course, you will find time for it. I mean, at the same time, that's very easy to say.
In our situation,
it's our situation because
we exercise
play soccer.
We exercise for our 3 hours a day. Practice.
Then I would say people think when they eat diet or they exercise, they have to do it every single day. For example, no, maybe just lift weights 3 days per week or 2 days per week, and then run another day. I think just walk. Go walking to your work or things like that. Is in the morning. It's about you're gonna cook no matter what. So instead of cooking the bad things, you just cook the good things.
Yeah.
I would say about defining time is about prioritizing things. So once you make it your priority, and then you will find time for it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think. Same thing be like if you really want something, you will prioritize it. Same thing if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, you want to talk to them, you'll prioritize time
Mhm.
to talk to them no matter what. Like you'll always same thing with health. You'll find time to go outside and take a walk, or you'll find what did it take us 5 minutes to make eggs in the morning? You literally crack the egg on the pan and you let it sit there. But and it there's different ways. You might say, oh, eggs every morning. No, there's different ways to cook it.
And if you don't have time to make those little things, I would consider what type of lifestyle do you have also.
Yeah.
Maybe start to change that. Having more time for yourself, for your health, and for your family.
Yeah.
And like we said, we know it's easy for us to say because we've been blessed.
That's
But
at the same time.
we also have. I mean, I'm sure your parents work long hours.
Yeah.
My dad was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. So like I understand that side of things too. And that like you look at that and you're like, wow, I don't want that lifestyle. He didn't want that for his kids either. So you can prioritize these things and do these healthy habits so that you later in your future you can find time for these things.
Yeah, I'm talking more about our age.
Yeah.
Because my parents are the same. They just work. So,
I mean, yeah, they
10
started working at the same
10 hours per day,
they
so
started
really-
working at the age of 20 like us, maybe even earlier. So I mean, like we're blessed, but plenty of people have. You can look at plenty of people who are working long hours but still find time for exercise and eating healthy.
Yeah.
It's all about priorities and what you want to do, and it's being able to find happiness in anything you're doing. I mean, if you're not finding happiness in lifting weights, maybe you need to find another way to get exercise but find happiness. Maybe you go swim in the pool instead. There's so many different ways to have exercise.
And sometimes one thing I also learned from my faith is it's not only about happiness but also about joy. Because when we play soccer, sometimes we are not happy because, for example, we're losing a small side. We're not happy, but we're joy because you really want to play and you're enjoying. So it's about, okay, I'm not gonna. I don't have to be happy 100% of the time, but I have to find joy in everything I do. It's how I see it too.
For sure. I mean, being happy is the most important thing in life in general. Is just being happy, finding joy in what you do, and a lot. Like I said, we're fortunate enough to find happiness enjoying what we do, but probably 90% of people don't find happiness or joy in their work.
Yeah.
So
And I think another good starting point for people is obviously listing your priorities and figuring out where health is in your priorities. And probably if it's under fifth, you should probably reconsider some things. But also try to see who has the results that you want to have and pay attention to what they do, right? So I know there's a lot of people that will want to be like you two. Well, what are these two guys doing that I'm not doing that might have helped them get to where they're at today, that might help me get to the point where I want to reach tomorrow if I follow what they're doing. So joining that is also like, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Pick those 5 wisely, but also social media. Like you said earlier, the internet, you can find anything out there. Find influences that you want to follow and make sure you're getting from them what you need, and do not hesitate to reach out. I know both of you don't have huge audiences yet. You're not like 500,000 people on Instagram. People should not hesitate to reach out to you. Not yet.
I'm verified. He's not.
Yeah, matter of time.
He paid for it.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. No, but you know what I mean. Like, people should not hesitate to reach out.
For sure.
Or
we
at
wanna help
least
people.
be part of communities where they know they're getting a good
Yeah, the
influence.
social media, that's a big thing. For example, now I have another Instagram that is all about health. So instead of scrolling nothing, I'm just scrolling and learning new stuff about health. I'm just that's a
Yeah.
simple thing to do.
Those are
Yeah,
good
for sure.
strategies to have, for sure.